Hi there! Well, today I am sharing with you my very simple, easy crock pot shredded chicken for tacos. This recipe is very flavorful, very moist, and it really does not get simpler than this. You just need 3 ingredients. You need about 2 pounds of white meat boneless chicken breast. That is about 3 or 4 breasts. You need 1 package of taco seasoning, any brand will do, and 1 16-ounce jar of salsa. I prefer a medium salsa, but again, any brand or any kind that you like is just perfectly fine for this. This makes the most wonderful shredded chicken to put on flour tortillas, on crunchy tacos, on top of a salad, really anything that you can come up with. It just makes the most wonderful Mexican-style shredded chicken. So I am going to show you how I put this together. It really is very, very fast. You can put this together at the beginning of the day and come home to wonderful, moist, juicy chicken. So let's get started. I have rinsed my chicken breasts. I have not patted them dry because a little extra moisture doesn't hurt with this recipe at all. And I've placed those breasts down here inside of the crock pot. Now I'm just going to take my taco seasoning and sprinkle that all over the top of the breasts. So you don't have to do anything careful here, just dump all over the breast there. That is good. Gets everything nice and coated. And then the next thing you're going to do is take your jar of salsa and just dump it in over the top of everything. This really, like I said, is just the easiest recipe. Now you don't need any extra liquids for this. The chicken will make its own liquids, and there's quite a bit of liquid with the salsa also. But you can watch this throughout the day if you'd like, and if you feel like you need to add a little bit of liquid, you can. I usually prefer to use chicken broth if I need to add extra liquid, but I usually don't find that that's necessary. Now sometimes I do like to have a little extra liquid at the end of the day. I will show you how I shred this and how I sometimes add a little extra of the sauce into the chicken to make it a little bit more moist, but this will not dry out. You will have perfectly moist chicken as is. Now the only other step that you can do now that I do recommend is to take a fork and just lift up the chicken a little bit to make sure the salsa gets on the bottom, just in case it gets a little bit too hot. You don't want the breast drying out or burning at the bottom of the crock pot. Now this is going to go on low heat for about 4 to 5 hours, or you can do a high heat for 2 to 3 hours. Put the lid on and forget it. That's it. Okay, so I just thought that we would check in on the chicken and you could see exactly how much liquid this produces. I did not have to add anything at all, so there's no extra chicken broth or water. This is just the jar of salsa and the juice from the chicken itself. So as you can see, it's nearly covering all of the chicken breast now, so no need to add extra water, and we will come back in a few when this is all done and start shredding the chicken. It is about 4.5, 5 hours later now. I have had the crock pot on low that entire time. The chicken is now ready to be taken out and shredded. This is also a very easy part of the recipe. I do apologize, my lighting is getting progressively darker as the day goes on. We are having really bad storms here today, so I apologize for the bad lighting. We'll hopefully get this in before we lose any kind of power, because that's a really good possibility today. So let's just dive in and get this chicken out and get it shredded. Okay, I'm going to start pulling these pieces of chicken out of the crock pot. Let me turn this off. These are really, really tender, so sometimes you have to be a little bit careful getting these out. I would recommend using a good pair of cooking tongs that will really grab onto this. Okay, and I add a little bit of liquid at the end here too. You can see, oh, these are just going to be so good. They're going to be falling apart, tender, and really, really just juicy and flavorful. This makes a great sauce. I like to shred up the chicken a little bit, and then I add sauce back in, and it really just seems to soak it up and give a good flavor. Okay, so now let's get shredding that. I went ahead and put a couple of the pieces of chicken back in the crock pot. It can get a little bit crowded here on the plate when you're starting to shred these, so I like to take them out just 1 or 2 at a time. You just need a couple of forks, and this goes really, really quick. So the breasts are really tender, so you just take your fork and start, oops, flew a little bit. You just start pulling this apart and then shredding it into smaller pieces. The chicken is so tender. This is delicious. This is going to be so, so very good. And like I said, I like to add a little bit of the liquid back in. I'm sorry this is kind of an awkward angle for me, but as you can see, it just pulls apart really, really easily. It doesn't require a lot of effort. And then once I get all of this shredded, I will add the liquid in and kind of mix it all up. So I'm going to come back when I get this done so I don't bore you with all the shredding. So here is the chicken all nicely shredded. You can certainly shred it as finely as you'd like. I do it somewhat finely. I like it in a little bit bigger pieces just because it's easier to pick up and put onto our tortillas. I am going to add a little bit of the liquid back in just to mix it up and give it a little bit more juice. So let me do that now. So I'm just grabbing some of the liquid out of the crock pot, and I am really just going to pour this over the top and then stir it in. And that is all there is to it. So here is the finished product. This is all nicely shredded and ready to go on your fresh flour tortillas, your crunchy taco shells, over a bed of rice, or possibly over lettuce for a salad. As you can see, it makes quite a bit of shredded chicken. This is 4 chicken breasts that I started off with. This is certainly a lot of food for my husband and I, and we will most certainly have leftovers for the next couple of days. So that is it. It really could not be simpler. This is such a quick recipe to throw together at the beginning of the day, and then by the time that you get home, you have the most delicious shredded chicken for tacos. I find that this is also a really good recipe to make if you're having company over, and who doesn't love a taco bar? It's just so much fun. Everyone can put together their own tacos. You could also brown up a little bit of ground beef, so you'd have a beef and chicken option, and it just is a really simple, easy to make meal that serves a lot of people, and it tastes like you put a lot more work into it than it really is. So that is it. I thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you very soon. Bye-bye.